Kia ora, good evening. Following Tuesday's extraordinary City Council meeting called to debate the Holdco uncalled share issue, Councillor Ian Pottinger was confronted by Councillor Alan Dennis, who had not been able to participate in the debate because of his position on the Holdco board. The encounter took place in the committee room adjoining the council chamber. Listening from the council chamber was South Today journalist Hunter Andrews, who, along with a crew member, heard a stream of loud, intimidating language directed at Councillor Pottinger by Councillor Dennis. Hunter Andrews asked Councillor Pottinger for his thoughts on the encounter.
Well, what happened was we'd had the debate, and I thought it was a good intellectual, robust debate, and it's been put on hold. Talked to you guys, and then I went in to get some lunch, and what I walked into, I didn't expect it. It was I received severe criticism. And then a tirade of verbal abuse from one of the councillors, and I was extremely shocked, and it was out of line, and people in our position should never ever resort to that.
It was quite plain to me who it was. It was Alan Dennis.
Yes, it was Alan, and it's unfortunate that it happened. I mean, I'm not putting any complaints into it. What I've done with the situation is put it in pause in my own mind, because we're still continuing with this uncalled capital thing, and I guess I have to. That information is relevant, if that's the way Holdco directors act. When we readdress this in probably a month's time. Yeah.
When you ran for council, did you feel that sort of environment, or this is speculation, did you think that environment existed?
Well, everyone talked about the old boys network, and I don't know whether it was just more of a like a group voting thing. But no, I didn't expect this sort of verbal treatment. No.
Have you experienced that in your professional life? Of course, you're a successful businessman. Have you experienced that before?
No, I haven't. No, never at all.
And so the plan going forward from here, you just take things as they come and continue the debate?
Yeah, that's right. But as I said, I don't think. I've always said that having directors, councillors, has created this culture difference, and if that's what the culture brings, then again, that's not healthy. Moving forward, we've got this uncalled share thing to sort out. We've got more information coming out to the public, so let's continue. Yeah.
From what myself and our camera operator heard, he had breached the code of conduct. You don't want to pursue anything officially?
Well, no, I'm not putting a complaint in him, and if he wants to do that, that's he can lose his lolly if he wants to, but I would definitely be against the code of conduct, and I guess it's up to the mayor to take any action of that. There were other councillors there were staff members there, but no, I'm not personally putting any complaints in, but as I said before, it definitely reflects back on Holdco, and they talked about trust. I'm not sure that does help that trust.
I think something I heard was that you should believe everything we put in front of you.
Well, look, we were voted on, to question stuff, and I thought it was a very intellectual debate. Jonathan Salter came out and said, look, there are flaws in that consultation program. We need more information. Hey, that's what we're there to do. I just can't understand why we get criticised for that.
You say there were staff and other people present. Were there a large number of people present in that room? We, of course, were in the next room.
I'd say there might have been 10 people in the room. I don't know. It was like honestly, I went into sort of semi-shock. Sorry. And
that, in fact, you didn't go to the Finance and Policy meeting later in the afternoon as you wanted to, so you were effectively removed from that process.
Well, I'm not on that committee, and I was going along to raise a couple of issues. I had a call from Louise about that, and I was just ended up in a bad place. It's a hard topic to talk about, what we're talking about now, and even you last night, broaching the subject, and you thought long and hard about it, and we shouldn't be here talking about this. We shouldn't, but it happened, and it's not flash.
And defending Councillor Ian Pottinger's right to say what he thinks in the council chamber without expecting an altercation to follow is long-serving councillor Lindsay Abbott.
Well, in my opinion, and it's always been this way, and I've been on council for a number of years, is that the council chambers itself is where debate is held. And you or I as a councillor have the right to represent what we consider the opinions of our electors are and say anything. And we've always been fairly liberal on that, and Tim's been liberal on that and allowed us to do that. Now, when it comes to the vote, you either win or you lose, and you be a big boy or girl and you accept that. Then we've got this other room that we call the committee room, which to me is a bit of a sanctuary. It's where you go in, you relax, and if you need food, and if it's been a long meeting and there's some food available, well, you eat that. You may have a drink, and you have chats. And you may talk about forthcoming things that are coming before council, and you get a feel from your councillor colleagues for their opinions. But altercations, I don't condone at all. And, yeah.
You were there on Tuesday, weren't you, at about lunchtime?
I was, and so were you, and that's why you're here now, because you witnessed it. Because
I certainly heard it. I didn't see it. I wasn't in the room, but we certainly heard it.
Yes, indeed. And I'll defend anybody's right to say what they like in the chamber. But altercations, I mean, it's happened in the past. I'm not saying it hasn't happened to me, but I handled it at the time, and I have now a reasonably good working relationship with the individual, and it's even interspersed sometimes with humour. So there you go, you move on. Ian, who's the subject of this, he's got the right to make a complaint through procedures, and if he does, and it comes before council, I'll defend his right to be able to say what he likes in council chambers.
Further support for Councillor Pottinger from long-serving, now retired former councillor Thelma Buck. Ms Buck spoke of an altercation involving Councillor Dennis that she witnessed in the chamber when on the City Council.
I heard the words were pretty strong, and I didn't think that was on, to be quite honest. You know, there's 13 people there, including the mayor, and I believe there could have been 13 different ways why somebody wanted it, and everybody's got their own opinion. And if you've got an opinion that doesn't go with the whole co, so what? You just have to ride with it.
Ian Pottinger's saying today that he will just move on. There'll be no complaints about the councillor's conduct. He will just move on with the democratic process. Do you support him in that?
Well, I was involved in a couple of things myself over the years. One with the same person that we're talking about today.
We're talking about Councillor Alan Dennis.
Yes, we were. And another city councillor, I won't name his name, but and I was absolutely appalled that day, and I went to, the secretary walked in just as it finished, and I asked Richard King if he would do something about it, and I waited about 24 hours to see if I was going to hear anything, and when I didn't hear anything, I decided to ring him up, and he said it wasn't a big enough issue, which I thought it was, because if I had done that out on the street to somebody, I probably would have been charged with assault because he laid his hands on somebody. When you're in the public like that, you can't go and throw your weight around. You have to do what the ratepayers want or go home, because nobody wants to listen to you or even watch you. It's just over top.
When asked earlier today, City Chief Executive Richard King said he did not recall a complaint being made by then Councillor Buck against Councillor Dennis. Councillor Dennis has not taken up South Today's invitation to comment on the matter. Invercargill Mayor Tim Shadbolt said in a short statement that he was attending the New Zealand Aquaculture Conference in Nelson and did not wish to comment on the matters raised until he has spoken with the parties involved. Stay with us. After the break, maiden speeches from the South's 2 new MPs, plus recognition for enterprising young Southerners. Welcome back. Invercargill and Clutha Southland's newly elected members of Parliament delivered their maiden speeches at the Beehive last night. Invercargill MP Sarah Dowie said her moderate opinions and centre-right stance will serve all New Zealanders. Dowie spoke of her interest in environmental and conservation issues and her desire to stamp out crime.
The sacrifice of brave men and women who put themselves on the front line to defend our liberties and the way of life which we hold dear in New Zealand is never far from my thoughts. I take this country's security and our personal security very seriously, and as such, I promise to uphold it. making sure that the police and other agencies have the resourcing and tools required to mitigate threats and reduce crime. But nurturing and growing a safe community is not enough on its own. Well, not enough for me. I believe in the concept of social justice insofar as it relates to enabling every New Zealander the opportunity to lead a fulfilling life and achieve their hopes, dreams and aspirations. This cannot be done, however, by keeping people down on an endless series of handouts. It's about creating an environment where people are supported to take responsibility for and to navigate their own lives, for they are best placed to make those decisions. On winning the seat of Invercargill, I was told by a friend to dream big. In response, I defer to one of the most powerful symbols of triumph over adversity, someone who achieved and inspired despite the odds. Helen Keller said, "One can never consent to creep when one feels an impulse to soar." I promise to listen, to learn, to work, to dream, and to do my best to soar. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
That was wonderful.
Clutha Southland MP Todd Barclay shared he was humbled to be part of the sense of history, tradition and culture that is Parliament, while making light of the expansive area and diversity within his electorate.
It is a true honour to stand before you as a representative for Clutha Southland. We are proudly the largest general electorate in New Zealand. We embrace Southland, South Otago, West Otago, Fiordland and the Greater Wakatipu. At 38,000 square kilometres, we're almost the size of Switzerland. Mr. Speaker, while not growing up on a farm, I do come from a good Southland farming stock, and I hope to bring this down-to-earth approach to the House of Representatives. Despite such a large number of the residents of Clutha Southland living in our larger centres, the major influence in the electorate remains decidedly rural. This is something not to be forgotten. The primary sector is still the backbone of this country and of our economy, and I look forward to making a strong contribution on the Primary Production Select Committee. Mr. Speaker, I want to talk about the areas where I intend to make my main contribution. These three areas are, in my view, fundamental to future growth and prosperity in Otago and Southland. I intend to make a difference in these areas. The primary sector. As a region, we are heavily reliant on a strong, high quality and productive primary sector and a savvy supporting service industry. Innovation and a drive to keep doing better is crucial in order to keep pace with the growing international demand. Second, in order to move forward, attracting and retaining more innovative, skilled and qualified workers down south is essential. To achieve this, we need to systematically lift achievement at each point throughout the education pipeline. And my third interest is trade, because this is what motivates and drives our demand for primary sector growth and workforce enhancement. We need to be constantly looking for opportunities to expand our export market base, which is why concluding a strong, dynamic TPP is crucially important for the prosperity of my electorate and the country. If I can contribute in any way to the delivery of tangible gains across primary industries, education, trade and tourism, and how they interact and intersect during my time in this place, I'll be proud to have helped enhance my region and our country's ability to grow its economic potential.
And that brings the bulletin to a close. Sport follows the weather next from the news team. Good night.